All right, this is going to be a daily video update for March 26th. Let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick. Couple of back-to-back dojis here. Some people want to call it a tweezer, but basically, let's look at it this way. Closing above the 20 EMA. We talked about getting above the 10 earlier, right? Getting above the 10 and then coming back and retesting, which it did successfully. And so now you're taking out the 20. Next area of resistance is going to be around 7,000. After that, then we look at the big area around here, around 72 to 73. And if it punches through that, then you're going to test the 50 EMA up here around 75.44. You can kind of see we're in this big, it's a wedge pattern, right? So let's just keep an eye on this. If it does break through this, then watch to the downside. Just watch for wild spikes and whatnot. But Bollinger Bands are starting to tighten up a little bit. The guess here is that probably somewhere around in, I'm just going to guesstimate, somewhere in the first week of April maybe, these Bollinger Bands will be really tight, and then we'll see what happens. So that's Bitcoin. Let's go take a look at the stock market real quick. Obviously, huge day in the markets. But I do want to point this out, right? Is that we knew that from the oversold conditions, we were going to get a huge snapback, right? Well, here we are. And why did we pause today? Because we're getting close to the 38.2 retracement and the 20-day moving average. So what can you expect from this? To me, either this thing is going to just blast right through this and we go through the, maybe come up and test the 50-day moving average or the 50% retracement. And then after that, the 50, day moving average. My guess, however, is that we probably stall here, come back, and maybe retest this 10 EMA to see if that's actually going to be the case or not. If this rally is real. Nice reversal pattern here. Talked about that last night. And obviously it's broke this pattern of, gapping lower and then gapping higher and all this stuff right in here. Finally, bulls are starting to see the, actually cheaper prices, but I don't think that's the actual bottom. I believe that this thing is probably going to come back and retest the lows. But we'll see how long that'll take. I mean, this is going to take a while to, if you scroll out and look at it, we could be looking at probably somewhere in May or June before this thing is finally all said and done, and then maybe we start another bull market. But we'll see. Nobody really knows the answer to that. We can only go off what we got on the charts. VIX. Let's take a look at the volatility index. So maybe things are going to calm down a little bit. Maybe we don't get the wild spikes and whatnot. Bearish engulfing right here on the daily chart on the VIX. You also had a dark cloud cover back here. And then this little pattern right here. So bearish indicators in chart candlestick patterns at least, and a weakening RSI. So this thing probably is going to pull back in as well. Not expecting a crash on this thing, but could obviously pull back into the 40s. So if there's any kind of good news about the virus and whatnot, and people start relaxing a little bit, but right now it's still panic mode for everybody, and I get it. So let's just watch this. Breaking below and closing below the 20-day moving average is going to be a big thing for the VIX, and that may portend what's going to happen in the markets. Here's one that really needs to be watched, right? The Russell 2000, that is the small cap index. This one has not made it to its 38.2 retracement yet, or even testing the 20 EMA, but it has closed above the 10 EMA. Very important. So let's keep an eye on that one. Very nice reversal pattern right here. Almost like a morning star, right? So let's keep an eye on that pattern, right? If this thing really starts taking off, we may look back at that and say, yeah, maybe that was the true bottom, but we'll see. After that, I'm not going to go into too much on the other indexes. Let's go back and look at some other altcoins. Let's take a look at XRP's getting a nice little bounce here, and been watching this little area right here, this resistance. It was support, is now resistance, and this thing's trying to close above this. You got a nice 10 EMA hook right here, which could, give this thing some legs, and who knows, maybe this thing pops up to 22. So watch that one. Link, just basing right here again, still under this 233 day moving average. If it can get above that, then maybe, it's got some room to go. But the Bollinger Band suggests that there's still a little choppiness to go. Let's go look at XTZ. Pretty much the same thing, just doing some base building in here. Whether or not this can hold or if it's going to pull back lower. Great support over in this area, though, so have to keep that in mind, right? So maybe it's trying to build a bottom in here. Time will tell on that. DGB, let's check back in on that one. Had a nice move over the last couple of days, even though our position was stopped out. But this is one I'm always going to follow because I think this has got long-term, good things going on with it. It's, nobody pumps it. There's people out on Twitter that talk about it all the time, but still, it's not one of those that people widely recognize. So anyway, we'll keep an eye on that one in the future as well. And with that said, guys, that's pretty much what I've got for tonight. So anyway, if you have any questions, I'm in Discord channel. Just follow the link, or you can catch me on Twitter. Appreciate you guys coming in, and we'll chat tomorrow. Thanks.